Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video on the West Ham Way YouTube channel. Hope you're all having a wonderful week. Someone who might be having a very wonderful week is Ben Johnson himself. Someone who's been out of favour on the team for, I'd probably say, about a year now. Obviously, we've brought in other left backs to facilitate, his drop in form. Bringing in Emerson, who, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated left backs in the entire league. Aaron Cresswell as well. Seemed like he had solidified his position at left back, and it seemed like there was nowhere else really for him to go. He tried going at right back a couple of times, but Soufal was there. Thilo Kehrer was preferred. Everything seemed set for Ben Johnson to leave, and I think in the summer, some clubs were after him. You had, I believe Southampton were after him, and a couple of other Championship clubs. I believe some other Premier League clubs as well were interested in him in January. And certainly with him not being sold in that time period, you've got clubs like, I believe, Brentford, Everton. There's a European team in there as well, Valencia as well. So he's definitely got some interest for him at the moment. And to be honest, if you'd have asked me at the start of this season or even last season, I would have said, well, he's gonna leave in the summer, he's gonna leave in January, or he's gonna leave at the end of his contract, of which he has 6 months left. But something weird's happened with Ben Johnson recently. He's been chucked on at centre mid. I'm not sure whether that was just something that Moyes tried to do in training, or whether it's just something he just decided, you know what, Johnson, we'll chuck you on for the match and see what you can do. But he came on against Bristol City in that position, and he played very, very well. And then he's adopted that position again against Man United. Yes, we didn't win the game, or even really come close to winning the game, but I actually think we played okay. I think we had our moments in the game. And, he's emerging himself as a very decent option for centre mid. Obviously, next season, we'll have Flynn Downs returning on loan. I would imagine that he'll probably be sold to Southampton because, he's played well for them. They're quite fond of him. And, if they get promoted, I can see him wanting to stay there. And I think if we get a decent fee for him, he'll probably go. So I don't think he'll be returning necessarily. Freddie Potts, I don't think he's returning on loan. I don't think he will be getting any first team action. It'll probably be another loan for him, but we'll see what happens there. Then you're left with Souček, Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, Lucas Paqueta. Again, Paqueta is someone that could be sold in the summer. So you've got yourself James Ward-Prowse, Thomas Souček, Alvarez, and then whether Phillips moves on or not, you never know. So there's definitely a position for a centre mid in the side, especially someone who's going to, we've got that attacking sided CM, which is James Ward-Prowse. We've got the CDM who, is going to be able to patrol the lines and get themselves in front of the defence and block the ball. But, we don't, in my eyes, I don't think that, in the position that people are being played at the moment, like Thomas Souček, I don't think he can do that number 8 job where he can be defensive and go forward and do both at the same time. That's not my role for Thomas Souček. So if Ben Johnson was to adapt that role, I actually think he'd do quite well at it because he's very good at, he's very defensive minded and he's good on the ball. The only thing that I think always worked for me was that when he played at left back, I never really got the sense that he was very good going forward. And that's why I would have always chosen to go for Aaron Cresswell. Obviously, he did have that little stint at right back as well, where he played very well. But for me, I think that he never was really that good going forward. But regardless, you never want to lose a player on a free transfer, especially an academy player. It sends out really just the wrong message. I think when you've got an academy player leaving on a free in the summer, it just doesn't really send the right messages out. So it looks like West Ham, according to our man, ex-Adaptation employee, are going to restart talks over new contracts for both Ben Johnson and someone we haven't mentioned yet, Divin Mubama, who I'll be talking about in just a second. The club are keen to keep hold of both players and will work to get these done, with talks expected to resume in the next couple of weeks. So, with Johnson, I think he's somebody that has come back into the side and earned his place at centre mid. Not maybe in the first team, but he's definitely shown that he can play there. In the post-match interview, it's nice again to be seeing him even getting a post-match interview and being able to talk like that. He said that I'll play wherever I want, wherever I can. Sorry, I'll play wherever I can in this team in order to, help the team. Great attitude, amazing attitude. He's played left back, he's played right back, he's played centre mid. He's very, very versatile. He's played centre back as well, actually, to be fair. I completely forgot about that. He has played centre back for us a few times as well. He's definitely Mr. Versatile. So having a player that can play right back, centre back, left back, centre mid, all of that added into his repertoire, I think that's brilliant, and it shows that he wants to be here. He wants to play games. He's willing to play out of positions if it means that he's able to actually play for the club. So that's always an attitude that you want from a player. Someone who is so desperate to play for the football club that they're willing to even go out their comfort zone. Maybe even play in a position that they don't like or that they think they're not going to perform well in. But it means that they're able to put on the badge and go out there and prove themselves. And I think that's a brilliant attitude. I mean, the guy's been with us since I think he was 7 years old. He's now 24 years of age. Listen, he's not lighting up the world anytime soon. And, what sort of centre mid he can adapt into, who knows? But I think when he comes on, he does a very good, very decent job. And I certainly think he's deserved himself a new contract. It'd be a big shame if he just left for free in the summer. And I think if he went to, thinking about it, if he went to like an Everton or a Brentford and he played in that centre mid role, I actually think he'd do quite well. Even that right back role potentially. I just don't think in the modern game he is good enough at going forward. I feel like all right backs and left backs now, they have to have very good attacking outputs. I don't think you can be a left back or right back anymore who doesn't go forward, who does just kind of command that channel and lets nothing get by him. I don't think you can do that anymore in the modern game. Players need help. I feel like most of the really good teams tend to have very good fullbacks. I mean, Liverpool, prime example, City, prime example. The way Tottenham are playing at the moment is very much down to their fullbacks. I would say, to be fair, that Arsenal have that issue, but someone like Zinchenko on the left can do a job, and Ben White is good at times. So I do think that we're at a stage now in football where, if you're a fullback, you kind of have to do all the jobs. You have to be able to defend. You have to be able to go forward. You have to be able to shoot. You have to be able to score. You have to have a very good delivery in the box. I never thought Johnson was that player. So, put him in centre mid where you can actually get away with not really shooting that much. You can get away with not having to be that involved in the attacks. I think he'd actually do very well at that. And looking at all of Johnson's strengths, I'd actually be very interested to see if he does adapt that role towards the end of the season, how well he does at it. But another player we're going to be talking about is Divin Mubama. Again, I'm not too sure what's going on with him, to be honest with you. If I'm Mubama, I'm struggling to find a reason to stay at the moment. I mean, Callum Marshall got his loan move to West Brom. He's got his new contract. That's all sorted. Obviously, we didn't really hear much on Marshall's thoughts on it, whether he thought, because I think the issue with Mubama is he feels like he's not going to get the game time. There probably is a little bit of money involved as well, but supposedly the biggest issue is that he's not being promised the game time that he wants. And from what I've seen this season, it's pretty clear that he's not going to get the game time. I mean, we're in a situation at the moment where we've got Jarrod Bowen, who's kind of our designated striker at the moment, which I can get behind. I really can. Danny Ings, who has had his moments, but let's be honest, he's on the back end of his career. If you're going to prioritise, okay, who do we want to play? Do we want to, keep Danny happy, who's on, mountains a week, or do we want to keep Mubama happy and give him the opportunity to see what he can do? And it definitely seems like Ings is the bigger priority. Then we have Mikel Antonio coming back, and he'll jump straight up that pecking order. So essentially, he'll be fourth in the pecking order. And if Callum Marshall comes back and he's asking for first team football, you could be fourth or fifth, with Mubama. I think Marshall's definitely, the hype's definitely around Marshall at the moment in terms of who people want to see, in terms of where they think he can go. The fact that he secured a loan move to West Brom as well, and Mubama didn't, it shows one or two things. It either shows that they want Mubama to play at the moment, or they don't really see the value in sending him out on loan, because either they don't think he's going to sign a new contract, or they just don't think that he's going to be able to go to that level. There were talks about him going on a loan move to the Championship, but it never facilitated. And Whether that's because we just didn't want to go for it or because Marshall was priority, I'm not sure. But the Mubama situation is a weird one. And I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go down. But, we are willing to offer him a new contract. I think we've been in negotiations for a contract now for probably almost a year with Mubama. It's definitely been a very long, drawn-out process. And he's one of the players that I do hope we can get a proper contract negotiation with and actually, sit down and concrete the talks. But, I think striker in our team is a very hard place to break through because, Moyes isn't. It's one of the positions where Moyes really needs to trust the player. So, for Jarrod Bowen to be up there, he really trusts him. Mikel Antonio, even when he wasn't playing well, was always there. He didn't trust Scamacca, even though probably ability-wise, Scamacca was better. It's a position that Mubama will really struggle with. So, hopefully we get contract talks held down. For me right now, Johnson is the priority. We don't want to be losing him on a free in 6 months' time. It would just be a really big shame to lose him on a free. I think that, even if we get him on a 2-year deal and maybe by January or the summer, a club comes in for him and offers a decent amount of money, that's more money than you would have got, of course, with his free transfer. So even if we're not sure he's going to push on and do well at West Ham, from a financial perspective, getting him on a contract is an absolute must because, like I said, if he pushes on the rest of this season now and does really, really well, and we can get maybe 10, 15 million from him, which isn't crazy money, because we've got him on a new deal and, he's shown what he can do and Everton and Brentford are interested, then I think that's a very wise move for us. Otherwise, he could show what he's already shown now, and a club might just be interested and say, do you know what, why wouldn't I take a punt on him for 6 months on a free contract after he's, played the way he's played for 6 months. So I do hope that, we're talking about 2 academy graduates here as well. We want to be sending the right message to players like Callum Marshall. We want to be sending the right message to all of our academy players. If you do well at West Ham, if you show desire for the badge, you will be rewarded with a new contract. If you show, that you can be at the levels you can be at, you deserve a new contract. And I think that is exactly what Divin Mubama and Ben Johnson deserve. The academy products, yes, it doesn't give you a divine right to play for this football club, but you know what? I think if you've been at the club since you were 7 years old, you're Ben Johnson, even if you show a glimmer of what you can achieve at this football club, I think you deserve to be given a new contract and a new shot at redeeming your West Ham career.